Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Basics of Life. My name is Ken Burkey and we have a first-time guest here. And she is in the house and I think you're going to like the show. This is Cindi Ehrgott. And Cindi, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Cindi is the director over life skills at Green Valley and also very connected in this community as far as life skills and helping people gain the tools they need to, in all areas of life, or a lot of areas of life, and very passionate about it.
I am.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't you, first of all, just talk about life skills in general, kind of the program and the spectrum that it runs.
Well, Life Skills program, you know, we've been running it for probably 13, 14 years at Green Valley, and it first started with just a couple classes. We had an Overcomers program on Sunday mornings. We had a divorce care class, and when I came to the church and was starting working there and fielding phone calls and meeting people, it became very obvious that, you know, one, life is difficult. Two, there's no instruction booklet. And three, people need help. And so it kind of grew organically as we interacted with people, as we interacted with the community and discovered areas of need. We have worked to develop curriculum and programs that would help address those needs. So, you know, we offer parenting programs. We offer a phenomenal marriage class called Marriage 52, which meets year-round. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not having any problems right now. I don't need to take a class. Yeah. But really, our classes they're not just for people who are having crisis. I mean, certainly that will help them. But it's for anybody who wants to acquire more tools, anybody who wants to do better at what they're doing.
Right. So go back to those three things.
Sure.
Life's tough.
Yeah.
Which is true, but I think sometimes people feel isolated, like they're the only ones going through tough times.
Exactly.
Talk about that as far as how life skills helps
well,
there.
I'm glad you asked that. So life skills, we have three core values. So, you know, we offer 20 to 25 classes each semester. So regardless of which class you take, our hope is that you're going to encounter three of our three core values. First one is grace. So no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what you've done, no matter what you're doing, you're accepted just as you are. I mean, that's part of course, Green Valley's vision as a church. We are a safe place. Walk through the doors, you will be accepted for just who you are. You don't need to look a certain way. You don't need to talk a certain way. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to clean up your act first. Right. So grace is one of the first core values. Second core value is community. Because as you just said, isolation is the killer of health. Yeah. You know, studies show time and time again, people are healthiest in community. And our community is isolated. Just our geographics are such that people are isolated. They're out there, you know, they're out in Georgetown, they're, you know, all over the place. Yeah. So our goal is to create a sense of community in every class that we offer, whether it's a 6-week class or a 14-week class. And then the third core value is transformation. And so what that means is that we accept people as they are, we welcome them, we build community, we love on them, but we want to also give them the tools to move forward. Right. We don't want them to have to continue to struggle with the things that they're struggling with. We want them to find those tools, those techniques that will help them do it better and do it easier. And you know, God promises us an abundant life, and so that's what we're moving towards. It's helping people learn what they need to learn so that they can have that abundant life.
So let me ask you this question. You may not know the answer to it. I'm not sure if I know, but why are there's such a lack of tools in our community? Because that is one of the greatest gifts life skills gives is tools.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, for a lot of, you know, public organizations, counties, things like that, funding issues are certainly a huge portion of that. Back in 2008, 2009, when the economy hit the skids, you know, we saw lots of programs go bye-bye. You know, lots of great programs. So we're blessed because we're not tied to the government. We're not beholden to any other organization. We as a church can see a need, and then we can create, you know, resources to help address that need. So a lot of it is economics. I think, you know, I think a lot of social agencies are overwhelmed. Yeah. You know, and they're, of course, what we offer, which none of those organizations can offer. We offer, you know, the answer to all of these issues is Christ. It's, you know, so you can, you know, and we work closely with a lot of county agencies. We work with the probation department, we work with juvenile hall, we work with county mental health, we work with New Morning, we work with the Center for Nonviolent Relationships, we work with our local judge, our family court. So we are very involved. We work with Marshall Hospital. We're very involved with all that. But if a person wants a faith-based program, that's where they're going to come. So no matter what class you take, again, whether it's parenting or marriage or finance or communication or anger management, the common denominator will be Christ.
Right.
So that's what we get to offer.
Right. And it's not, like you said, it's not crammed down anybody's throat, but
No.
it's shown that spiritual component is such a huge part of all of the way we heal and grow.
Yeah. And, I would say probably 20 to 25% of the folks that come to our programs are non-believers.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a faith to participate into our programs and our classes. Yeah. You'll hear about God, and then you can decide for yourself if that's something, a path you're going to head down. But you'll still learn those tools. You'll still learn the good practical tools as well. Something
else you said about the isolation is geographically we're isolated, but then there's many times we just get isolated in our lives because of our culture, and then we make mistakes, and maybe families isolated. We're isolated. So this creates, again, some different relationships, maybe for the first time safe, non-judgmental relationships.
Yeah. Well, families, life is tough, as I said, and you have a family that's struggling to be healthy, but maybe the dad lost his job, or maybe there's some addiction issues that are in there. It can't help but trickle down and affect the whole family. And so, one of our programs, The Landing, which is this phenomenal program on Sunday nights for teens, and it's it's the equivalent of our Celebrate Recovery program. So it's any teen who's struggling with a hurt, habit, or hang-up. They're welcome there. They're loved on. They're given tools. They're finding a safe community. And so it's the ripple effect. I can't think of one person, including myself, who doesn't struggle with things in life.
Right.
And so, God designed us to be in community. And so that's what the church should be. And that's what we try to be, is to be that safe place for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So life skills it's a very diverse, because what you have done is you try to meet people right where they're at.
Right.
A lot of, so things like marriage and addictions and those kind of things came out, parenting when you first started. But I'd like you to talk a little bit about mental health.
Okay.
Because that's a new area of focus, and the church in general hasn't gotten it in some ways.
No, you're right, and that's very true. That's probably our most recent really focus is mental health. If you go back 20, 30, 40 years, divorce was the big thing. In churches, people never talked about it. There was not acceptance for people who were going through, divorce and marriage struggles. And so the good news is, in the past 20, 30 years, churches have finally realized, okay, that's no longer the discounting issue. We love people. You can be a good person, you can be a godly person and still have experienced divorce. But it's funny, because one of the last toeholds is mental health, is the discussion of mental health. So as a church, this last May, we did a big mental health awareness weekend, and we invited our community to come in and help us participate in that. And our desire in talking about mental health from the pulpit, from the upfront, is to normalize it. Normalize it in the sense that everybody experiences it at some point, or somebody you love is going to experience it. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's your aunt, maybe it's your child. So what we want to do is break down those barriers. We want people to not feel ashamed. We don't want people to feel like there's some reason why they're less than. God has a purpose for each and every one of us. And we want people to know that. And we want them to come out and not feel ashamed. We want them to get the tools that they need, the resources that they need, and to lean into the life that God has for them, along with their struggles that they have. An alcoholic doesn't think God can't use me, or hopefully they don't. Right. A person who, has financial issues. So why should mental health be any different?
Why has it been then?
Why has it been different?
Yeah, why has it? What was the church's disconnect?
I think fear and ignorance, and I would say not just the church, but the community at large. Okay. There's a lot of ignorance around it. There's a lot of people who assume that if a person has mental health issues, they're violent, or they're not dependable, they don't have a responsibility quotient, but all those things are not true.
Right.
And so it's, we offer bipolar insights here on Monday nights. Marsha Rose does a phenomenal program with that. And her goal, her singular vision is, again, to educate the community and to help people who are struggling with these mental health issues to sit up and feel good about themselves. She often will say to her class, you are not bipolar. You are Joe, or you are Ken, or you are Cindy. You are a person who has bipolar disease, but you are not bipolar. Any more than if you were diabetic.
Right.
We don't say, "Hey, diabetic." We say, "Hey, Ken, how's diabetes?" That kind of a thing.
Yeah,
So it's really reshaping the way people see themselves and the way we see others. So
go back to, I think even in families there's an embarrassment or maybe there's shame. And so normalizing this, how is it going in our community? How's it going?
I think it's slow going. I think state of California passed a Mental Health Services Act. And through that act, there's a lot of great funding that's available now. So there's programs that have been developed. One of them, the Mental Health First Aid program, which we've offered several times at Green Valley. Another one is called Safe Talk, which we'll be offering this fall twice. And that's a wonderful 3-hour seminar on suicide awareness, I guess is what it is. And County Mental Health teaches these. They come onto our campus and teach these classes. They're open to anybody in the community. We really want the community to come. So, for example, a Safe Talk is a great 3-hour program, and it helps people learn, first of all, what is suicide? Why do people feel suicidal? What does it mean? How can you look at those cues in a person's life? If you're spending time with somebody, if you're concerned about them, they give you some good pointers, things to look for. So it's really, again, raising that level of awareness, helping people be more educated so that they can make a difference. And they've taught this at some of the local high schools, and it's quite interesting because even within the same year that they taught it, Stephanie Carlson, who teaches this program, has said there's been 2 or 3 kids that have come up to her later and said, "Hey, I needed that training. My friend had those patterns, and I was able to talk to him, and we got help for him." So it's pervasive. The teen suicide is higher than it's ever been. And so it's important for people to recognize those signs. And as Stephanie will teach in the class, people who are suicidal, they don't really want to die. They just want to get rid of the pain in their life. And so when you can understand that, you don't have to be frightened by it. And you can reach out to people. So just amazing resources that the county offers, and how lucky we are to partner with them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so wonderful to, I grew up in an era where, it seemed like everybody was doing their own thing, but especially with life skills, you have, and I know you're passionate about that. Talk about that a little bit, just not blending, but partnering.
Yeah.
How important is that?
It's vitally important because, for one thing, excuse me, we can't be an expert at everything. We don't want to be, nor can we be. We are not mental health experts. We are not therapists. But we can partner with those experts that are in the community to help bring those resources to the people that walk through our doors. And we can partner with those resources to help them equip the people that they're seeing on their campus and say, "Hey, if you're working with somebody who's open to faith, send them our way, and let them know what we're doing as well." So, partnership is vital. No one agency is going to be able to do it all, nor should they do it all.
No, and it seems like when people from different agencies really care about their community, rather than care about just their thing, it seems like this begins to happen. We begin to work. And financially, it's kind of, we've been forced to, and that's actually been a good thing.
Yeah, it's been a silver lining for Green Valley, I think, because when a lot of those programs went away in 2008, 2009, people started picking up the phone and calling Green Valley, and that is God's open door. I really believe that it created that opportunity for us to be seen as a viable resource. I think that there has been prejudice in the past. Let's face it, people have church baggage. I get that. I have my own fair share. But it created that opportunity within our community for people to begin to say, "Hey, go over to Green Valley. They might have something for you." And that's our hope, is that people will continue to develop that relationship, that open door relationship that works both ways.
So you've talked about partnering with mental health. What about addictions, and you said you work with judges, and
Yeah.
talk about that.
Well, it was pretty exciting. A couple weeks ago when Celebrate Recovery had their big 10-year anniversary bash, Judge Sullivan from our adult drug and alcohol court came and sat and visited with us for almost 2 hours, and we talked about, when she's sitting on the bench, she's seeing these people, what are their needs, and she has a heart. She doesn't want to see these people again. She wants them to get the help that they need so that they can move on with their life. So Celebrate Recovery is a phenomenal program that we offer every single Thursday night of the year, whether it's Christmas or New Year's or whatever. It's a Thursday night. Celebrate Recovery is there. It's the best place to be on a Thursday night. That's it.
Or almost any night, yeah.
Any night. So again, it's just a great place for people to come to connect. Again, those 3 core values. They're going to find grace. They're going to find community, and they're going to find transformation. And so the courts are beginning to see that. And so certainly she can't mandate somebody to go to that. But if she comes across a person who talks about a faith in their life, talks about God or Christ, and she knows that that's something that they're interested in, then she wants to send them to that program because she knows it works. Another great thing that we have going for us is that our programs are essentially free. You might have to purchase a book, but essentially the programs are free. And so that's very unusual. Nonprofits, county agencies, they can't do that.
Right.
They have to keep their doors open. They have a budget. And so again, it's an odd blessing, but because we have no grant funding, because all this is done through the generosity of our church and from the amazing volunteers that serve, we don't have to charge people. So not having $350 to take an anger management class isn't going to get in the way. So it's a great thing. It really is.
Wow. We're almost done. Isn't that amazing? So you're going to come back because we have a lot more to talk about. Okay. Unless you don't like us. Well, Skylar's, he's questionable.
He's good.
We'll wrap this up just time-wise. 13 years ago or however long. Yeah. What got you into this, and what keeps you in this?
Well, I think we're wired similarly in the sense that, we have a heart for people. When I see people who are hurting and lost and hopeless, it breaks my heart. I've had periods in my life where I felt the same way, and it's not hard to remember what that felt like. And I know that that's not how life needs to be. I know that Christ came to save us and to give us this abundant life. And so I love nothing more than connecting people with resources. I love to find somebody who has a specific need and be able to say to that person, I'm glad you're here today. I got something for you, and you give them the catalog, or you give them a book, or you introduce them to a teacher, or you introduce them to somebody else who's been through the program. And that's the best it gets. It really is. And our desire is to be culturally relevant. We don't want to just offer classes for the sake of offering classes. Right. We want them to matter. And so I'm constantly interacting with the community and saying, call me. If you see a need, talk to me. Is there something that we're missing here? Is there an area of service that isn't being addressed out in the community, but maybe we can help? So that's where that dialogue comes in, and how important that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This was really good. You need to come back. We'll talk about more classes because it's so vast.
Yeah.
And so let's conclude the 3 things, the 3 goals.
Yep.
Again,
3 core values.
3 core values is
grace, community, transformation.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you want more information about anything we talked about or more, just call the church.
Yeah, call the church.
And Cindi,
call me if you want.
Yeah, your email is?
My email or my extension.
Whatever. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
You can call the church and ask for Cindi.
Cindi Ehrgott?
Or extension 224.
224?
Or my email is cehrgott@greenvalley.church.
Okay.
Ehrgott's hard to spell, so just call.
Okay, just call. We'll get you connected to her. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you for being with us here on the Basics of Life, and we will see you next time.